Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Samvedna Psyche. This video is for all IGNOU MAPC Psychology first year students of July 2024 and January 2025 batches. Today I am covering MPC-002 Lifespan Psychology. I have put together the assignment solutions that will help you tackle your submissions with ease. But before we dive into how to frame your answers and what to include, remember to include the front page and the question paper with your submission. Also make sure to follow the guidelines provided by IGNOU which I discussed in MPC-001 assignment. I have not included the front page but the question paper I have still included in this video too, as you can see on the screen. Now let's move on to the assignment answers. Before you start writing your answers, don't forget to mention the subject along with subject code and other details as shown here or as mentioned in your question paper. Section A. Question 1. Discuss social development during middle childhood. In the first paragraph, I have mentioned the definition. I have defined it briefly like it's approximately 6 to 12 years. This is the period, and it is a period of significant social, emotional, and cognitive growth. The focus of the children moves from family to friends and other broader circles like the neighborhood, school, etc. And the main issues which we'll discuss here will be relationship with the parents and siblings, peer dynamics, social cognition, and self-esteem. So the first point, relationship with the parents. This is the phase when the children start to spend more time with friends and less time with the family. And they become more independent. They need autonomy this time. And the parents need to balance this because if they are not able to balance, then it will affect the child. So for parents, it's a bit challenging, but they need to balance this by giving some freedom to them along with guiding them at each and every step. So if they give this support to the children, if the parents give this support to the children feel more valued and this develops their self-esteem. The children also start taking up certain responsibilities at home, and these responsibilities, they develop their skills, their self-confidence, their behavior, they become more helpful and they become mature too. Along with all this, the sibling also try to test the values which are instilled by the parents. And if they understand the reasons behind their parents' values, they stick to them even under peer pressure. Self-esteem is very important that you have to mention here that if their self-esteem increases, their happiness increases, which results in a better social functioning. And if the self-esteem will be low, then they'll have many emotional difficulties and lower levels of achievement. The role of the parents becomes like a consultant in this phase, and siblings play a very important role in social development. When the children interact with their siblings, they practice and refine their social skills. Elder siblings also serve as a companion as well as role models. And the younger siblings usually imitate the behaviors of the older. And through the interaction with the siblings, they learn to express their emotions, to resolve conflicts, and develop empathy. Next is peer group dynamics. Peer group dynamics is very important during this phase. The peer groups influence the behavior of the children, and the way that they solve the conflict or they resolve the conflict, it's slightly different in boys and girls. Girls prefer cooperation and negotiation in resolving conflict, while boys prefer competition and direct confrontation. Peer acceptance also becomes important for them. So this happens only when they are socially competent. Social competence includes the ability to understand the social dynamics And the ones who are able to form and maintain better friendships, they are more likely to be accepted by their friends. Then let's move on to social cognition. Children develop the ability to understand the other people's perspective, and they start with egocentric thinking where they believe everyone feels the same as they do, or everyone thinks the way they do. Then in the next stage, they recognize that people may have different viewpoints, but still they assume that those viewpoints are similar to their own feelings. Then they become slightly self-reflective, and they start understanding that people can have different perspective and can see things from various viewpoints. And the last phase in this, is mutual, where the children, they understand that there can be multiple perspective for the same thing. So there can be different viewpoints which can coexist at the same time. And the last one, which is the social and conventional one, this is after middle years, that is beyond 12 years or 12 years and above. Next point, self-esteem. It's a very important aspect of social development, and it is shaped by what children feel about themselves and their life. High self-esteem results in greater happiness, higher achievement, and better social functioning, while low self-esteem can lead to emotional difficulties and lower achievements. And finally, then you have to conclude your answer that social development during middle childhood is due to various factors. It's not only because of the child, but even because of the environment which is around the child. Question 2, explain the characteristics and stages of prenatal development. It is the earliest and most important phase of human development, which lasts approximately 280 days or a little above 9 months from conception to birth. And it is divided into three main stages: zygote, embryo, and fetus. Let's move on to the characteristics. Characteristics I have taken up as points, and each point is having its own heading. The first one, it forms the foundation of development. It is the first and the most important phase, and hereditary plays a very important role. The genetic material from the parents combine here to shape the individual, making this phase very important for future traits. Growth is very rapid during this phase, although this is the shortest phase, but this is the fastest period of growth, where a microscopic single cell zygote transforms into a fully formed baby, having all the tissue, organs, and organ systems. Environment and hereditary, they affect or influence. Both hereditary and the environment plays significant role here. Good nutrition and healthy environment, it fosters healthy growth, while harmful substances can lead to certain issues. And hereditary, it sets the stage for the future development of the baby, not only at the time of birth, but before birth and even after birth. Sex determination. This is the period when the sex of the baby is determined, and once the sex is determined, it remains the same throughout the life unless until it is altered by surgical methods. This is the phase of rapid growth and development. Although it is the shortest phase, but growth takes place at very high rate. From a single cell microscopic zygote, it changes to approximately 20 inches and weighs around 7 pounds. Then impact of maternal attitudes. Mother's emotional state can also impact the development. That is why there is a need for a supportive and positive environment for the mother. Next is stages of prenatal development. There are three main stages: zygote, embryo, and fetus. Zygote, it is formed at the time of fertilization. So from fertilization, it extends till second week, and it combines the genetic material from both the parents during fertilization, and then it undergoes rapid cell division and forms blastocyst, which gets implanted in the uterine wall. Second stage is period of embryo, which starts from second week till the end of second lunar month. And in this phase also, cell division is very rapid and tissue differentiation also starts, and the foundation for different organs like heart, brain, spinal cord, etc., that is also laid during this period. This stage is also very critical because the embryo is most vulnerable to external influences. Next comes third stages, period of fetus, that starts from second lunar month, that is by the end of second lunar month till the time of birth. During this phase, the organs mature and the baby prepares for life outside the womb. By the end of this stage, the fetus is fully formed with all the organs and organ systems fully developed, and the baby is ready to take birth and weighs around approximately 7 to 8 pounds and measuring 19 to 21 inches. And finally, you have to conclude your answer. Next, let's move on to question 3. Discuss aging issues and challenges in middle adulthood. So, middle adulthood is typically between ages 40 to 65 years, and it is marked by significant physical, emotional, social changes which have their own unique challenges. We'll start with the first one. What are the issues and challenges? First one, physical appearance. In this, you have to mention changes like graying hair, wrinkling skin, yellowish teeth, and all these can affect self-esteem and body image. Then hearing and vision. Many people experience decline in hearing and vision, making everyday tasks difficult for them. Hearing loss often begins around the age of 40-45, and men are more affected than the women. Next point is health. Under this, mention that chronic conditions like heart disease, cancer, they become more prevalent. Lifestyle choices from earlier years heavily influence health outcomes in this stage. So that is why it's very important to lead a healthy lifestyle from the very beginning of the life. Next, strength and coordination. Physical strength and coordination typically declines. Muscle mass decreases, fat increases instead of that. Reaction time becomes slower, and they need to do necessary lifestyle adjustments. Next is sexuality. For women, this period marks the end of the fertility because they achieve menopause during this time. Although in men, they continue to be reproductive, but their fertility decreases. Next is disease. Chronic diseases become more apparent and require management, challenging individuals to adjust to new health routines and potential lifestyle limitations. Relationships during middle adulthood. They may experience a U-shaped satisfaction curve during this time, which often declines in the middle years due to personal changes, but it improves later on. Divorce risk may increase during this phase, and many of the couples, they may grow apart because of the strained relationship. However, many couples find ways to maintain their intimacy, improve communication, they strengthen their bonds, and they lead a better and fulfilling relationship. Next point is friendship. Friends tend to be fewer but deeper, and they provide essential support during this life stage. And they are fewer because of increased responsibilities. They are not able to socialize much. Next point, children. Parenting can become complex as individuals have to navigate between raising their young children or teenagers while confronting their own middle life changes. And the last point, relationships with parents. Middle or aged adults often take on dual role of caregiver for their aging parents while managing their own lives. And this can create emotional and practical challenges as they provide support and navigate the responsibilities of caregiving. And with this, you'll conclude your answer. Section B, question 4. Discuss Piaget's and Kohlberg's ideas on moral development. Both Piaget and Kohlberg provided foundational insights into how children's moral reasoning develops over time. First, we'll take Piaget's theory of moral development, where you need to discuss two main stages: heteronomous morality and autonomous morality. Children enter heteronomous morality stage around 6 or 7 years, and they see rules as fixed which are enforced by authority figures or an external force. And they believe that wrongdoing leads to punishment and judge actions based on outcomes rather than the intentions. And the second one is autonomous morality. By age 10, they achieve this autonomous morality where they start to understand that rules can be flexible, and they consider motives and the context of actions, realizing that moral decisions may vary by situations. Kohlberg's theory of moral development. Kohlberg proposed a three-level model of moral development, and each level contains two stages. The first level is pre-conventional level. According to this, moral reasoning is based on self-interest. The first stage under this is punishment obedient orientation, which focuses on avoiding punishment. And the second stage is instrumental exchange orientation, where the focus shifts to social rules and expectations. The next level is conventional level, where the individual focuses on social rules and expectations of others. So the two stages under this, first one is good boy, nice girls orientation, that is seeking approval and living up to the social expectations. And the second stage under this is system maintaining orientation, which emphasizes the importance of obeying laws and maintaining order. The third level is post conventional level. This is the advanced stage where moral reasoning is based on abstract principles. The two stages under this is first one, social contract orientation, where laws are seen as social contracts that can be changed. And the second stage is universal ethical principle orientation. So this follows universal ethical principles that applies to all. And finally, you have to conclude your answer. Piaget emphasizes the transition from rigid rule following to more nuanced moral reasoning, while Kohlberg elaborates on the progression from self-centered to principle thinking. Question 5. Elucidate learning disability, highlighting its characteristics, causes, and identification process. So first of all, define what is learning difficulty. This is defined as specific difficulties in learning despite having normal or above normal intelligence. And children with these difficulties may face challenges in reading, which is known as dyslexia, difficulty in writing, dysgraphia, and difficulty in mathematics, that is dyscalculia. Characteristics of learning disability. First point, it's a chronic condition, that is, it is persistent and often linked to neurological factors which may vary in severity. Children with learning difficulty have normal intelligence or above average intelligence, but still they struggle with reading, writing, or mathematics. Next, behavioral issues. Although they do not have any behavioral disorder, but frustration and emotional difficulties can develop as behavioral issues. Gender differences. Boys are diagnosed more frequently for this than the girls. Developmental delays. Children may experience delays in language and motor skills, attention problem, they have difficulty focusing, and short-term spans are common. Perceptual motor impairment. Many face challenges with coordination and handwriting. Memory and thinking disorder. Issues with memory and metacognition are very common. Academic difficulties. They often lag behind in reading, writing, and mathematics, struggling with reversals and handwriting. And the last one, speech and language issues. Common problems include difficulty with speech sounds and language comprehension. Then, causes of learning disability. Environmental model suggests that poor learning environment and unstable family condition contribute to it. Brain damage model says that in some cases, these are due to neurological damage which may often come from prenatal or perinatal injuries. Organic and biological model identifies factors like food additives, neurotransmitter imbalances as potential causes. And genetic model indicates a possible genetic influence on reading and language problems. Next is how to identify learning difficulty. Teachers play a very important role in noticing early signs based on their learning behaviors. There can be multidisciplinary assessment, a team of professionals, including teachers and psychologists. They may evaluate the child. Then there are certain standardized test tools like Wechsler Intelligence Scale and Woodcock Johnson assessment measures for cognitive abilities and academic skills. And diagnostic inventories like Brigham's diagnostic inventory of basic skills can also be used. Then you conclude your answer. Question 6. Describe language development in children, highlighting its component. First paragraph, you'll write about what is language development and when it starts or how it starts. So, language development in children, it starts in infancy, evolving from simple sounds to complex sounds. Babies begin with language but learn through interaction and mimicry. By around 4 months, they read lips and distinguish between sounds. Initially, they engage in cooing and then progress to babbling, which leads to meaningful speech around 6 months. Components of language development. There are four key components. First one, phonology. This involves the rules of speech sounds. Infants produce various sounds starting with cooing, which evolves into babbling. By 1 or 2 years, they recognize and produce familiar words, often simplifying pronunciation. Like instead of banana, they'll say nana. Second is semantics. This deals with vocabulary and understanding concepts. Babies initially comprehend words before they can produce them. Their vocabulary expands significantly by ages 1 to 2 and they start to fast map new words. Next component is grammar. This includes syntax and morphology. Between 1 and 2 years, children use simple two-word combinations known as telegraphic speech and gradually learn more complex grammar. Instead of saying a full sentence, they'll say the short form. Instead of saying I want water, they'll say want water. Fourth component, pragmatics. This refers to using language socially or how to use the language in different social contexts. Infants engage in joint attention and turn taking, and by ages 1 or 2, they participate in conversational exchanges too. Thus, language development is a multifaceted process which involves four components which develop at their own pace, contributing to the overall communication skill development. Question 7. Discuss the psychosocial changes in older adults. As people age, they often place greater value on friendship due to less availability from family and desire for independence. And marital satisfaction can vary during this time. Dixon theory, the ego integrity versus despair stage of this theory or the last stage of his theory explains how achieving ego integrity brings a sense of completeness while despair comes from regrets about unfulfilled goals. According to Peck's theory, there are three main tasks for achieving integrity during this phase. The first one, ego differentiation versus work role preoccupation. The retired people should find new roles to maintain their self-worth. Second, Body transcendence versus body preoccupation. The older adults, they focus more on cognitive strength instead of physical limitations. And the third one, ego transcendence versus ego preoccupation. They should learn to accept mortality by contributing to future generation. Then, according to Lebowitz-Weave's theory, uh, older adults develop emotional expertise, which allows them to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively as compared to the younger generation. Next, reminiscence and life review. Sharing their past experiences and reflecting on life helps with self understanding and leads to contentment. Stability and change in self concept and personality. Older adults tend to have a more secure self concept. Traits like agreeableness may increase, while sociability can decrease as they become more selective in relationships. Individual differences. Dependency can lead to feelings of resentment or depression. Empathetic support is crucial, especially as health issues and life changes takes place. Social support, maintaining social connections are very important for them for reducing stress and improving overall well-being. Relationships and late adulthood. Family and friends provide essential support, and marital satisfaction can improve with effective communication. And the last one, retirement and leisure. Although the retirement decisions are influenced by different reasons, health, finances, or personal interest. But successful aging involves health, meaningful activities, and developing hobbies before retirement. Question 8. Describe the challenges and issues faced by an adolescent. Various challenges and issues adolescents face during this transformative period. I have taken them as points. First one, physical and hormonal changes. Significant biological changes, including increased hormone levels, cause significant challenges. These changes lead to growth spurts and can affect body image, impacting their self esteem and creating stress. Next, cognitive development. Adolescents develop abstract thinking and enhance problem solving abilities. This newfound cognitive capability at times cause confusion too and may lead them to question existing beliefs and values, resulting in internal as well as external conflicts. Next is social dynamics. Adolescents shift their focus from parental approval to peer acceptance. This desire to fit in can lead to conflicts with parents and may encourage risky behaviors as they often hide their weaknesses while showcasing their strengths. Autism specific challenges, these are challenges which are only for those kids who have autism. That is why the heading is autism specific challenges. And after this, the next 2 points, coping with loss of normalcy and acknowledging sexuality. These are uh, part of the autism specific challenges only. There's a typo while numbering. So you can make them A and B part of fifth point. Sixth and seventh will become A and B point of point 5, that is autism specific challenges. So children with autism, they face their unique challenges during social interactions. Some may avoid social situation due to anxiety, while others might not recognize their social difficulties. So supportive environments are very important for developing social skills. Then A point under this is coping with the loss of normalcy. Adolescents with autism may realize their differences from peers, leading to a grieving process, and parents should support them through stages of anger, denial, depression, acceptance, or adaptation. And B point, acknowledging sexuality. Sexual development for autistic children takes place at the same pace as their peers, but it presents challenges for those with autism. Parents should have open discussion about sexuality, set boundaries, and provide appropriate education. Then change in point of view. This will become your sixth point. Adolescents, they seek respect and autonomy. They often question old values and traditions. And this quest for personal identity can lead to emotional and mental challenges requiring support from parents, professionals, and caregivers. And the last point, high risk behaviors. Adolescent often brings experimentation with high risk behaviors like drug use, unhealthy eating, and this is often driven by a desire to assert independence. Parents and professionals should guide adolescents towards healthier choices. And with this, you'll conclude your answer. Now, let's move on to section C, where you have to write short notes of 50 marks. Question 9, concept formation. Here, explain how children's understanding of concepts evolve as they grow, noting key milestones like number consistency and spatial awareness. Next, educational approach for hearing impaired. Here, discuss various educational placements for hearing impaired children, emphasizing different teaching methods and the importance of assistive devices. Question 11, characteristics of infancy stages. Here, describe the infancy stage, highlighting its duration, key adjustment infants make during this, and how early experiences influence their later development. In question 12, relationships in late adulthood, outline the significance of relationships for older adults, including family ties, friendships, and how these contribute to emotional well being. Question 13, growth spurt. Here you have to write physical changes which the boys experience during growth spurt, including height, weight, and related changes like voice deepening. Question 14, identity crisis. Here define what is identity crisis in adolescent and what is the struggle between forming a clear identity and experiencing confusion about roles. Question 15, critical periods during development. Here you have to mention what is critical period, giving some example like caregiving can affect development during these times. Then question 16, formal operational stage. Here you have to mention what is this stage, this focusing on adolescents' ability to think abstractly and reason about complex issues. Question 17, nature versus nurture. Here you have to emphasize how both genetic and environmental factors influence the development and behavior. And question 18, that is longitudinal method. Here you have to mention that it's a method of research where the same individual or group is studied or observed over an extended period of time. And it can be done in classroom or can be recorded in the natural environment also. With this, we have completed MPC-002 assignment solutions. That's it for this video. I hope these solutions make it easier for you to finish your lifespan psychology assignments. If there's anything specific you would like to see in future videos, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to pass this video along to anyone else who might need it. Best of luck with your assignments and see you next time. Thank you.